This week we're going to give you a reptile room tour of my gecko room. The #1 video I get all the time that people ask me to make is the reptile room tour, and apparently every other YouTuber does it like once a month. So I decided to give you guys a little tour of where the magic happens, our gecko room here at TikisGeckos. So, come with me and welcome to my crib. When you walk in, right away to your left is the heated rack. So this is where we keep all the fat-tailed geckos, the blue-tongued skinks, and the leopard geckos. Let me show you what we're working with. This is a little baby African fat-tailed gecko. This is a cute little African fat-tailed baby from our patternless group. Obviously it's a het patternless because you can see it has the bands and the striping and everything. But these guys are super cute. They look like little aliens with, you know, fat tails and a weird looking, I don't know, just overall body. But these guys are super awesome to work with. They only eat insects, so, and they obviously need the heat. You keep them kind of similar to the leopard geckos, but you got to keep them a little more humid. So these are the parents. These are the parents to that little baby I just showed you. This is mom. She actually looks a lot like the baby looks a lot like her. She's a het patternless, striped. And then dad is a whiteout patternless who is freaking out right now. But he has some really awesome colorations and patterns. You could see the whiteout gene actually messes up a little bit with the patternless, and it gives them some sort of pattern. But it just makes an awesome looking animal. And African fat-tailed geckos, especially if you like the leopard geckos, I definitely recommend getting into the African fat-tails. Let's put this guy back. Now, one of my more new exciting projects that, I mean, we all, you guys know that Manny is the one who works with most of the blue-tongued skinks, but recently I've started to get some of my blue-tongued skinks for my personal pleasure. So I wanted to show you guys some of those, and this is one of them. So the blue-tongued skink obviously gets its name from that bright blue tongue they have, and they're just, I've always said this, man, they're like the mid-evolution animal of a snake and a lizard. It's like God didn't know what to do. It's like, do I make this a lizard? Do I make this a snake? So he just made an awkward looking thing with small little legs. And but they are really beautiful. They have that blue tongue that they use to smell around. And actually when they get really startled, they'll puff up, especially as babies, and they'll open up their tongue really big and they'll flash it at you. I guess that in the wild that will scare off predators. To us, that just makes them look a little cuter. But look at the colors on these guys. They're just super bright orange and yellows, and this is just one of the couple that I have gotten. So we got the blue tongues, the African fat tail. This is actually one of my tangerine high contrast albino leopard geckos we have, that she will be breeding soon to Goku. If you guys have seen my video, Goku is one of my giant Tangelo leopard geckos, and this girl is ready to breed. She's really awesome. Her coloration is just, out of this world, and she's a sweetheart. She'll be breeding soon. Let's put her back. There you go, girl. So those are some of my African fat-tailed geckos, blue-tongued skinks, and the other thing, leopard geckos. But you guys know my favorite thing is the Crested Geckos, and this is my favorite Crested Gecko group that I actually have right now, and this is why. I'm going to show you. Mainly because of the male. I'll give you a clue. He's a lily white, and there he is. So this is the male of that group. This is Frost. If you guys follow us on Instagram, we actually named people through Instagram, named them, and he is an extreme Harlequin, high expression lily white. He is my favorite gecko right now. He's actually not even fired up. He'll get a little better looking, but he has great structure, Just a whole bunch of white pattern, and just an awesome looking gecko. He just started breeding. I just paired him up not too long ago, so I'm excited to see what happens. And he has a, and that happens when you own Crested Geckos, people, but he's fine. Okay, so let's put him back. This is actually one of the females that he's with, and this is a red Harlequin with really nice structure on her. She is an awesome looking gecko. And let's see if I can show you at least one more female that he's with. Oh, there's actually one in there in the lay box. And as you guys can see, the way I keep my Crested Geckos, I basically clutter their enclosure in there. I put a bunch of brown paper, some egg crates, fake plants, PVC tubes, just a whole bunch of stuff for them to hide in. This is a drippy, creamy, pinstripe female that is breeding with Frost right now. Let's put her back. Look at that. That's how we keep it. There's one male and 4 females in there. It looks like they enjoyed their food. Just wiped it clean, which is always a good sign. Always got to make sure I'm not going to catch any tails when I'm closing this thing. Now, when we come in, right off the bat, we see the baby racks. This is where I keep all the baby Crested Geckos and the baby Gargoyle Geckos. So, for example, let's see here. You can see that the way we keep some of these babies are very simple. A paper towel in the bottom. We got some food bowls there, and crumbled up brown paper so they could hide. This is a little red Dalmatian we got, not fired up obviously, but this little guy is for sale actually. And we put him back in there. And this is where the Gargoyle Geckos are at. Deadpool and Scarlett Johansson holdback, one of my favorite geckos, my favorite Gargoyle Geckos that I have right now, and he is awesome, or she. And they all jump all the time. I got you, I got you, I got you, I got you. That's not gonna be a blooper. That's actual gecko breeder life. Always at least losing one gecko. Anyways. So those are some of the baby gargoyles, baby cresteds. This is a gecko that a lot of people like because he's a little controversial. I guess not controversial to me, but where is he? Oh, there he is. Come here, buddy. This, guys, is a Crested Gecko and Chihuahua hybrid. This is Trigger. A lot of you guys have already seen him in some of my previous videos and on Instagram and stuff, but he is actually one of my favorite geckos. Just super bizarre looking. He is what you get when you breed a Crested Gecko with a mossy prehensile tailed gecko. So we don't sell these geckos, we just keep this guy for fun, but they're super cool. He fires up brick red, and his underbelly is actually super orange. Really, really neat looking animal. And he'll still get a little bit bigger than this. I'll put him back in his enclosure. So now, obviously, we got the rest of the room. This is our little rack where we feed. So what we do is we lay all the little cups around here, and then we fill up the cups. That way we could go around the enclosures and give the geckos food. Some of the food that we feed here is obviously the Reptile Mango Super Blend. We feed mostly Reptile. The Mango Super Blend is good. The Classic, which one else? Well, Reptile is always good. And Pangea, we feed the breeding formula. I like the breeding formula a lot because you could feed it to anything. It doesn't only have to be breeding animals, and it's more complete than some of the other diets. Okay, so that's some of the food we use. Now up here we have Pepito always checking out what we're doing. This is my bearded dragon. Sometimes I breed these guys. He just gave me a little kiss on my hand. But sometimes we breed these guys, sometimes we don't. But he is a little aggressive, so I try not to bother him too much with. Well, I try not to bother the female too much with him. But he is a hypo orange bearded dragon. He's a sweetheart. Whenever somebody is interested in reptiles or somebody comes over to the house and wants to see a cool animal, I bring this guy out because he's puppy dog tame and just a good time always. Super chill, super tame. Bearded dragons make great pets. That's Pepito. Let's put you back, buddy. These are some of our other Crested Gecko groups. You know, we have mostly groups over here because they're, you know, they're breeding. Over here we have some single Crested Geckos or some Crested Gecko pairs. Let me show you this little. So this is a Chihuahua. A Chihuahua is, you know, a mossy prehensile-tailed gecko, which is half of that gecko I showed you before, Trigger. This guy, he actually needs an upgrade. He's in a little small enclosure. But these guys, they look like poop until they start getting a lot bigger and they start to put on a lot of greens, browns, reds. But right now, he's obviously doesn't look like the most impressive gecko. But this gecko, when it adds maybe 10 or 15 more grams, it's gonna look like a different animal. It's gonna add a lot more color. And these are some of the rarest new Caledonian geckos you could get. They're very hard to reproduce and they're very expensive. So that's a Chihuahua. Now, all my people, all my YouTube people always want to see some lychees, so I'm going to show you some lychees. This one here is one of my favorite holdback lychees. This is a high pink island cross. Nuana and Morrow Island. Lechianis. You can see they could blend very well when they're on that stick, on that cork bark. But you can see all the colors on this guy. Just super cool looking animal. Man, these guys are just some of the most impressive New Caledonian geckos, and geckos in general for sure. He has really bright pinks on there, and just a really awesome animal. I'll show you one more lychee. And the lychees you keep basically the same way you keep the Crested Geckos, just room temperature. You know, you feed them the same stuff, the Rapacea or the Pangea. You could keep them a little warmer, but it's basically the same exact temperatures and humidity. Let's see another lychee. Where's that big rana? Oh, right here. Okay. So this is a Nuana Lechianis. Let's see, let's hope he's not trying to fight me. Sometimes he could get a little territorial in there. Oh, sorry. Alright, this is a Rhacodactylus lechianis from the New Anna Island. This is actually one of my favorite colored animals. He's a lime green with bright white blotches with black speckling, which is very, you know, it's very, what's it called? Yes, it's very, the Nuanas are known for that coloration basically. But this guy is absolutely gorgeous. He is from Philippe de Vosjoli lines, and he'll be breeding maybe in another year or so. He still has a lot to grow actually. He'll fill out a lot more. But one of my favorite Lechianis right here. Super awesome animal. Guys, I have so much to show you. I would never be able to show you everything. But, you know, we do what we can. So, if you come over here, these are some of the eggs that we have incubated. We have like 6 of these things to incubate the eggs. But we are incubating at different temperatures. So, in this room, it's a little warmer. Right now, it's actually 75 degrees. And it has a humidity in the room of about 64%. So that's pretty good for all the geckos. And let's show you another little cool animal. This is called a Iridactyloides villardi, or Chameleon, New Caledonian Chameleon Gecko. These guys, this is about, you know, maybe 80% of its full size. It'll grow a little bit more, but the females will grow, you know, maybe twice the size of the males. The males will stay a little bigger, and they're a very, very small little lizard. But their scales are super interesting. They have some big scales, and they're just absolutely gorgeous little geckos. You take care of them the same way you take care of any other New Caledonian gecko. Same temperatures and same humidity. But a lot of people like to give these guys UVB. The reason being, they're very active during the day. One of the more pretty New Caledonian geckos for sure. They're pretty calm too. They just hug your finger like that and just chill out. Now, we have some wheels on these racks just so we can, here, let me move the water. We have some wheels on these racks so we can move them, and we could kind of like take more advantage of the space, of the little space we got. By the way, new facility coming soon, thanks to you guys. But, so we move these racks around, and then we have more room to, you know, to play with basically. As you can see, guys, I'm like all cramped up in here. We got, you know, boxes on boxes on boxes. And one thing I did want to show you, satanic leaf-tailed geckos. Alright, check this out. This is how we keep the satanic leaf-tailed geckos. We have some sphagnum moss in we have some mulch as the base. We have some sphagnum moss in there. We have some dead leaf litter. We have some branches, thin branches, thick branches, fake plants, and that's how we keep the what's it called, satanic leaf-tailed geckos. These guys, we don't have any UVB on them. You can keep them without UVB. There's a big discussion, you know, whether they need it or not, but I have kept them for a very long time without UVB. I have also kept them with UVB and haven't noticed much of a difference. Now, I don't breed these guys, so maybe if you breed them, you do need UVB. But let me show you one of the little satanic leaf-tailed geckos we got. This guy is actually sold, but boy, some of my favorite species of geckos for sure. The satanic leaf-tailed gecko, just gorgeous little animal. This is an adult, believe it or not. This is as big as they get, but they're just so impressive looking, so, you know, bizarre and unique. They got like little twig legs and a fake leaf tail. Just awesome looking animal. Alrighty, put him back in his enclosure. Cover this up here, and then we got the rest of the room here. So check this out. Here we have a couple more individual geckos. We have some groups, and yeah, guys, let's show you Deadpool, because everybody wants to see Deadpool all the time. See, this is why I need the new facility. So these are some females that are with Deadpool. This is one female, and this is the other female. Two females that are with Deadpool right now. Red striped Gargoyle Geckos. Doesn't get much better than that when you're talking Gargoyle Geckos. And let's see if we can find Deadpool anywhere. Again, I keep these guys with a bunch of clutter in here. Basically, a lot of brown paper, you know, cork bark, branches, fake plants. Just so they have a lot of visual barriers and a lot of places to hide. And Deadpool, where are you? People want to see you, man. Alright, there you are, boy. And this is Deadpool. The brightest red Gargoyle Gecko I have ever seen. Well, actually, some of his offspring are surpassing him now, but he is just one of the most awesome looking Gargoyle Geckos. And the cool thing about Gargoyle Geckos is that they will regenerate their tail. As you can see, my boy Deadpool here has a regenerated tail, and for some reason it regenerated a lot longer than it was originally. But you can see he lost some of the color. When it regenerates, they won't the red doesn't follow it all the way down. Don't ask me why, but alright guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed our reptile room tour. As we get the new facility, we will give you more updates on what's going on. As you can see, I'm crammed in here, so I need to move out ASAP because the business is growing thanks to you guys. I appreciate all the support. Now, if you want to follow us on social media, our name is TikisGeckos on all of the social media, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Feel free to do that. Let us know what videos you want to see next. I'm here to please you guys. I'm here to inform you guys. So whatever you guys want to see, drop it down in the comments below and we will take care of it for you. Until next week, thank you for watching and bam!